Hello everyone, Kerry Schwartz here with your flower of the week. So this is a picture that I took on a hike over in Montana around a lake over there in the Bitterroot Valley, and this jumped out at me as a very attractive flower, of course, white and kind of a yellowish center and stuff, but what I thought was really unique was each of the flowers, and these grew very near the ground, where it had these 6 petals, or rather leaf structures, I guess is what they are, that grew out from underneath each of the flowers. I thought that was kind of cool. So what I look for, of course, in a leather flower is the layers that can help us create that three-dimensional effect that we often find compelling. So anyway, I just thought I'd show you how would I impose my will on this flower, try to stylize it perhaps a bit, and so here we go. And I have not practiced this. I've only thought about this briefly here just recently, so I don't know how this is going to go, but we're going to give it a shot. So some have speculated that this is some type of dogwood, which I think would track easily with some of the, I've done some other dogwoods, although this has some points on it that these points on the petals are kind of a different. Usually the dogwoods I've done before have been there's been kind of a bite taken out of the let's see here. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, we'll call it 7. I'm using a little artistic license on this. So there was 6 leaf structures going around that, but we'll just go with 7 just to fill up the space. Got the old smoothie. Chuck Smith old smoothie with the cobalt blade in it that I just purchased from Chuck in Sheridan in May of this year. So who knows when I get finished up here if I might wind up with 6 petals after all. I'm just kind of not following. I've got 5 there, so I guess I will wind up with 6 here. I'm not following my marks that I made with the stylus very well. So, well, it's my leaves are a little more clean than the organic. Look at how organic that all has got bites taken out of it and stuff. So that's something that I could work on at some point, I think. So let's see. Put some ballast on things here. Oh, I've chosen this is that F916 out of my armamentarium toolbox. Let's see what this is going to do for us. Very coarse line shader. And probably reiterate what I've said before. I try to, on this kind of shading, I don't shade clear around everything there. I just I try to keep my shading in the middle of the petal, leaving a little bit of an open spot, if you will, negative space, I guess, perhaps, in between where the petal come into the center. Yeah, let's see. Not sure quite what to do with this. Somewhat like what I've done here on this TCA project. I might have to, if I decide to do this flower again, and chances are I will, might have to experiment with something different than what I've done like this on the TCA saddle here, but yeah, okay. And I can see from the picture it does not have a pedal stop, but somehow it just seems like I should put one in there, so let's just go ahead and put one in there. So, cased this leather up yesterday, so it's just about right. I'm getting really good color with it. So I'm doing this fairly large format here. Quite a bit larger than what I normally work with on this kind of thing, but for demonstration purposes, I thought I'd make it plenty big here. Okay, let's reach for a little bit larger and coarser. So we've got, you know, that's where the opportunity is for this layering, and so we're going to want to shade things here and see where that might go. So I've got this much coarser shading tool, and I'm not following the exact I don't know what you call those veins, I guess, in the leaf. I'm following those very precisely here, and mostly just because I want to stylize this in a way that I think is going to work for us. So, as you can see, what I'm doing is, once again, shading the middle part of the leaf here, and leaving kind of a rim around the outside. And I'm respecting the form of the curvature with this shading. This is, I would say, the most important line. Remember me talking about that ad nauseum. So I would say this longer arc on the outside denotes motion. So my shading respects that. And the longest line of this shading is more or less down in the middle of each of those leaf structures there. So that gives it kind of an organic feel with all of that coarse lining and checkering and so forth. And once again, I'm not beveling hard to the points of these. On the beveling, as I've demonstrated before, kind of set up my base of operations with my little finger and ring finger, and then I don't want downward pressure on the tool, so that allows me to just locate each time the strike of the tool here. I float. The tool is actually kind of floating. It jumps each time I strike the tool, and just moving it along, and it's kind of floating. So it's also, as I think I've said before, addresses a certain amount of hand fatigue with my left hand. I'm not pushing downward. All I'm doing is gripping the tool no tighter than is required to control it, and move it along in the cut right there. I'm allowing my maul to do the work as it is designed to do. So now no undercut beveling going on with this, but in these little points here, an opportunity to kind of make those areas sort of pop a little bit by using this little pie-shaped tool, craft tool that I use a lot, pretty much on every design I do. Those little pie-shaped tool there. Okay, yeah. Let's see where I need to bevel just a little bit more. Okay, shading and beveling complete. Not sure how to. I might on a petal shape like this. Sometimes I've done this. I don't see it in the photo, this kind of deal, but it something like this kind of helps frame up each of these petals. Where there's no shading on the edge and no lifting, no undercutting. And I'm not sure I would do that. I suppose I might give it a try on these. I just thought of something. Let's see what this looks like. This is just a line shader that I made myself. Notice in the photograph that some of these petals are kind of curled under. Well, this doesn't exactly create a situation where they're curled under, but because I'm leaving a little bit of a rim, I'm not shading clear to the edge, tipping this tool so it's kind of feathers, and so it's darkening the edges near the edge right there, and then feathering back. Last leaf here. Yeah, that's probably about all the damage I'm going to be able to do with shading. I might come in and maybe on each one of these just put a decorative cut and then a little cap. So this follows, of course, the shading, respecting the curvature of the leaf structure there, all that harmony, compatibility, so on and so forth. So how are we looking here? I think that'll probably make for a pretty attractive flower. It doesn't have quite that organic flavor that I often like, but. And there's a few things I'm critiquing myself on here that definitely need to be addressed. So all of these lines should respect the fact that underneath there, everything comes to a stem on the back side of this flower. Well, look at this line. This is taken off in a different direction. So that's a mistake. That's an out and out. That's just wrong. So just doing a little self-critique. Same way here. See, that line should have been, the leaf structure should have respected the fact that this needed to come in like that. That looks pretty good. This kind of off a little bit. This one not too bad. That one pretty good. That one's not too bad. So that would have helped this, I think, a bunch by doing that. So now I'm imagining, of course, with this flower in the wild, this was just white as could be, but it had, I think, as I recall, kind of a yellowish center. I'm gonna have to take another look at my color picture that I took, but of course, green petals here. So I guess if you want to get after it and do some green here and yellow, that might look kind of cool if you're into coloring things. So there we have it. Take care, folks.